Assalamu alaikum. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will cover my job experience while wearing the niqab or what was it like trying to go into an interview while wearing the niqab. So all that, I'll cover this in this video, and let's get into it. When I started wearing the niqab, it was 2013, and I already had a job. I was working there for a year. My job was helping clients who were elderly and who had some form of disability. So luckily for me, the client that I was working with had no problem of me wearing this because her family lived in Saudi Arabia for 5 years. They were aware of the Muslim culture, they were aware of the Saudi culture, they were aware of the veil, they knew what the term was. They said it was, niqab. So I was just very impressed. So I got very, very lucky. However, my boss was completely different. She, this type of job, we barely see our bosses unless there is a meeting or if you're going in the office to pick your check. That's the only time. So I have to go into the office to get my check. I didn't do a direct deposit. I wish I could have done it early so I can avoid the bad experience that I had. But I remember walking into the office and I saw my boss, and there was 2 other women that I didn't recognize that was, just around her. And when they first saw me, immediately they were shocked, they were surprised, and I didn't, I catch that, but I didn't mind, because this is obviously, it's different, it's unique, it's not a lot of people are aware about it here in the U.S. or in the West. So I was not surprised by the fact that they were surprised. So let me get that out of the way. But the other 2 immediately, the other 2 women who obviously were not my boss were even though they were surprised, they were curious, they asked questions, even though some of the questions were a little bit uncomfortable, but I answered, I didn't mind. It was okay. My boss, however, I just had this negative energy just coming from her. Like I knew it, she didn't like it. It is as if she's seen a ghost, she just, I'm gonna say it like it is, like there was just so much hate just coming, like the energy was just so terrible. And my naive self, I was really trying to make her comfortable. I was trying to see if she had any questions. I was really trying to, make her understand why I'm wearing it. And I had this spiritual awakening, or I was just so naive. And all along, like, she didn't like it. Like, and when I finally addressed it and I said, it looked like you're uncomfortable. Are you okay? Do you have any questions that I might answer? And I was very friendly with her. And she's like, oh, no, you're fine. You're good. I understand this is your religion, blah, blah, blah. But the minute I, start talking and I answer the other 2 women's questions, you can see her face, like it just gets so, her eyes just gets wide, and she's like directly looking at me, and she's not turning, and she's just, she has this frown, and her face is just so, just straight. So it's clear she doesn't like me. It's clear that she doesn't like what I'm wearing. And I remember leaving that place feeling, for the first time in my life, just feeling unwanted. I felt unwanted, and it was just a terrible, terrible feeling. And immediately I decided that I was going to make I was gonna get a direct deposit because I don't think I wanted to see her again. But yeah, that was my experience with my boss. But the good thing was my client loved me very much. We connected, we matched very well. But unfortunately, she needed a more professional help, and she went into nursing home, which I was sad about because I had that really good connection with her. This meant that I had to wait for my boss to match me with another client. And I knew then that she was not going to find somebody to, match me. This type of job is technically you're hired, but are not paid unless they find somebody to match with you, a client for you. And so it could be years of just being there and literally not working and not getting paid because you don't have a client yet. So I knew then that there was no way she was going to match me. There was no way she was going to find somebody to match with me. So I just started finding other jobs, trying to get other interviews. And I was actually surprised when somebody from that office called me, and after 2 months of not working, and said, hey, we found somebody who is a lot like your previous client. She will love you. Do you want to work with her? And I said, of course, yes, because at this point, like I said, I haven't worked for 2 months, so I really, really needed a job. I really needed to start working again. But at the same time, I was a bit confused because I'm like, I guess, they don't mind the niqab. I didn't understand why they were suddenly more accepting, but I didn't care. I was like, alhamdulillah, thank God, I can finally work again. I can finally get paid again. I'm good. But little do I know that the person who called me was unaware that I was wearing the veil. And later on, like 2 days after of him calling me, the supervisor that was working with this client that they're trying to match me with called me, and she said, hey, this person will be perfect for you, but let me ask you about, do you wear the veil? And I told her, yes, I do. And she said, is there a way you can take it off? And I told her, while I'm working with the client in her home, I can take it off because we are allowed to reveal our face to females. We just cover from males. And I said, but the minute we step out of that house, I'm going to have to put it on. And then she said, in that case, I do apologize. It's not going to work out because the client will not feel comfortable. And I appreciated that she told me that. I really thanked her for being honest with me and for being upfront with me. Because, the reason why is because I know that a lot of people will not feel comfortable with this, right? They just won't. It's new. It's a new thing. It's unique. It's different. And a lot of people may not feel comfortable with it. So I can understand that. But I was just so grateful that she was just upfront with me, and I didn't have to wonder, why didn't they call me? So I thanked her, and at that point I knew that there was no way I was going to get called again to get matched with anybody. I just knew. I started looking for other jobs, and one of my friends was leaving her job for another job, and she recommended me. And immediately I got an interview. At this point, it was been, closer to 5 months that I didn't work. And so I was debating if I should remove it or if I should go in the interview while wearing the veil. And I made the decision to wear my veil or my niqab, because I didn't want to have to live up with this guilt or this regret. You know, like, what if this job was different and they would have accepted me even while wearing the veil? Like, I didn't want to have to think about that and have that regret feeling, you know, what if? And so I decided I was just gonna go ahead and wear it, and I prayed about it. I went to the office really early, like an hour early, and I was just sort of just sitting there. The job was like a case manager, and they really paid well, and that was one of the things that I was debating. I was like, I really need the money. They pay really well. I know I could do the job. I am qualified for it. All of my experience, everything, I qualify for it. So, but then at the same time, I just wanted to be true to myself. So I was waiting and just using that time to just make lots of du'as. And I happened to come across a friend of mine, and she, you know, asked me why I was there, and I told her that I, you know, trying to, that I had an interview. And she was like, "You serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I have an interview. I don't understand. What's wrong?" She said, "I'll be honest with you. I know the interviewers, or the, what do they call it? The hiring team. And they're not going to hire you with the veil." She's like, you still have time. You still have 30 minutes. Go to the bathroom, remove your veil, and come back. She wasn't trying to be mean or anything or disrespectful. She just knew that, you know, she works there. She knows the people who are doing the interviewing, and she knew that I was not going to get hired with this veil or this niqab. And I thanked her, and I said, "I'm sorry, I can't take it off. I have to at least try." And she said, "Listen, I know you're really trying to, you know, get closer to God. I know you're trying to do good for yourself, and you're religious and everything, but I'll be honest with you, it's just not going to work out." But I thanked her, and I had to go to the interview wearing this. I mean, if I am hired, will be forever grateful, because it pays really good. But if I don't get hired, at least I tried, and I don't have to feel guilty or live with this regret feeling and constantly wonder what if, and I wish I could have done. Like, I didn't want to do that to myself, and I want to be true to myself. And I went ahead with the interview. And again, when they first saw me, when the interviewers saw me, they were surprised, they were shocked. But after a while, you know, of them asking me questions, I can see that they started to relax. They started to become more interested, and it seemed as though they have, you know, forgot about the veil, because we connected so well, and they were so impressed with my my resume. And they knew some of the places that I worked in the past, and they knew people from there, so they were just very impressed. And toward the end of the interview, they asked me if I had any questions, and I brought up the veil because I know that it was a big thing. Even though they didn't talk about it, even though they didn't mention anything, I felt like I had to bring it up because, I mean, it's a huge thing. And I just want to make sure if they were comfortable with it, if their clients will be comfortable with, and I just want to be clear. And I wanted them to be clear with me. And then they said, "No, it's fine. We do not discriminate. Our job does not discriminate. But there are other people we also have to interview because we have other I don't know, 3 other people that would come in who also have an interview appointment with us, but no, we don't have any problems with it. So I walked out of there feeling very hopeful. It seemed like they really liked me, and I honestly thought that I was gonna get that job, or I really thought I was gonna get that job because we just connected so well, and they were just, like I said, they were very impressed with me. And 1 week went by, I didn't get called. 2 weeks went by, I didn't get called, and I was like, okay, I didn't get the job. That's fine. That's fine. After a while, I happened to see that same friend who worked there at the mosque, and she told me that they really liked me. My personality matched for that job, for that position. They loved my experience, so they said that I was perfect for it, but the only reason why they didn't hire me is because of the veil, because they didn't want their clients, they didn't want to lose any clients. I totally understand, even though I was kind of hurt, I'm not gonna lie, just being without a job for that long, and depending on, at this point I was like really depending on my family, I still, I completely understand, like if the clients don't feel comfortable, then they don't feel comfortable. They have a right to feel comfortable. So I was sad, I'm not gonna lie, I was sad, but alhamdulillah, it came to the point where, I knew there was no way I was gonna get a job with the veil. I've tried, I've prayed about it, I spoke to a sheikh, and it came to the point where I had to remove it for another job. I mean, I've reached the point where it was just getting so hard, and I had to temporarily remove it while I'm in the building for this new job that I was hired. So, and I do follow the belief where I don't think that it's obligatory, that it's a must that you have to wear the veil, that it is that you can take it off, but obviously I would love to wear it, and if I was given the option, I would right away, go with this option of constantly wearing my veil anywhere I go. But I have to be realistic, and the place that I live, the society that I live, I will be interacting with other people from different cultures, different religion, and and it's not impossible for me to get a job, but it is closer to impossible. It was very, very difficult. So that was my experience. Oh my God, I was talking for a long time. So overall, my experience while wearing the veil was completely, like, it was unpleasant, and I do not wish on anybody, any other sister who was wearing it. I hope your journey, if you're wearing a veil, if you're wearing the niqab, and you are also thinking about trying to find a job, don't give up. Just go ahead and try it yourself. Don't let me discourage you by letting you know my experience, but you might have luck with it. So and if you are already working, let me know what type of job that was and what was your experience. I would really love to hear that.